graduated from the University of Maryland. I have a bachelor's degree in sociology. I have a master's degree in marketing and communications. And just because I want to ride that HE train a little bit, I am an honorary member of the Howard University Band Alumni. It's a long story about how that happened. We're not going to long story. So I was raised on an Air Force grad, so I've been a lot of places, met a lot of people. I love people. I like talking to people. I like problem solving, and that is why I'm running. I see some concerns, and in the city of Bowie, I'm a problem solver. When I first moved to Idlewild, we couldn't get out of our neighborhood because there was traffic, too much traffic on Racetrack Road. So I said to my neighbors, what are we going to do about it? Let's go and tell the city, and they said, well, we'll support you, but you're going to be the voice. So, okay, I'm up for the challenge. So it took about 2.5 years, but we have a traffic signal, double traffic signal, Idlewild Drive, Marquette, and Racetrack Road. Worked with, had to lobby Bowie City Council, and I lobbied County Council to get that done, and we got it done. So public safety, when I speak of public safety, it's not just the police department. Full disclosure, my son is a member of the Prince George's County Sheriff's Office. So very, very aware of the police, what they can do for us, what we can do for them. But public safety is more than that. I think Roxy said the infrastructure piece. Well, that traffic signal is a part of the infrastructure piece. Speeding through the neighborhood, many people are saying that's a problem. So I want to look into that when I am on Bowie City Council. The trails, the sidewalks, these are situations. Public safety cannot be minimized. It does affect quality of life. And so these are the very important things to me. Like, as I said, Jen Dewberry, Bowie City Council, District 1, I want to be a positive voice for your vote. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Yamade House, and I'm so excited to be here because I get to say the correct pronunciation of my name, which is Yamade House, and you all know what I mean, and you all can pronounce it, so I'm so excited about that. A little bit about myself. I am a dual degree holder from Johns Hopkins. I am a licensed mental health clinician. I own a private practice for mental health that works with professional women. I'm also a mom of 3 who are right now enjoying their trunk or treat, so they're gonna be a little bit wild when I get them. I'm also active in the community. I have participated in the PTA at Tulip Grove, St. Pius, the Bowie Boys and Girls Club, and then I've had leadership positions in community service organizations throughout Maryland. And so one of the things that really was a call for action for me to run was last June when there was an active shooting incident at Bowie High School. And that to me was my call to action because I got a text message along with the rest of the parents at St. Pius, and we ran to the school only to see that our school was surrounded with armed police officers. It was a very scary incident, and during that time I counseled my friends, my children's friends, parents, neighbors, around how to really process that incident with these young school-aged children. My absolute 3 important, and there are a lot, but 3 important kind of genres of issues is absolutely public safety, then education, and then infrastructure/economic development. And I will go into that more when you ask questions. I think it's also important to note that I have been endorsed by State's Attorney Aisha Braithwaite, by State Delegate Tiffany Alston, by at-large Prince George's County Member Jocelyn Grout, and so that I have real lines of communication to handle the issues that are brought forth and that the city of Bowie is dealing with. So thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Monica Roebuck, and I'm candidate for District 2 and City Council. I want to thank the African Chamber of Commerce for bringing us together. It's important to hear everyone's voice, and I want to unite Bowie so that we can tackle some of the issues that we're dealing with. And so I've been in Bowie for 23 years, and you may have seen my name on the ballot when I ran for delegate last year in the gubernatorial. I received 7,609 votes. So I'm just continuing my journey of public service to the community. Since I've been here in the city of Bowie, I've served on the education committee. I also was one of the organizers for the Juneteenth celebration that we recently had. And so I think it's very important that we get involved in the community and that everyone has a say. And so my priorities include public safety. And as I've been knocking doors, I've been knocking hundreds of doors throughout the last several months. Many people are very concerned about public safety. And so at the root of my platform is quality of life. And quality of life, you have to feel safe in your home and in your community. And that's one of the things that I really love about Bowie is the family feel and how safe it is. And so that's something that I think we really need to work on as a community. City services, that's very important, making sure that we have the clean water, particularly in District 2. Those are some of the specific issues that people in this district are being affected by. We want to continue the 2-day-a-week trash pickup. And then also being fiscally responsible is very important that we use the money that the taxpayers are giving and use it wisely. We have to make sure that we're not wasting the money that is coming into the city. And so those are some of the things that I want to work on. I would love to discuss all of those. I look forward to the discussion, and I thank you for the invitation.
Good evening, everyone. Well, my name is Babatunde Adebelele. I've been a resident of this beautiful city of Bowie since 1995. I'm blessed, my wife and I, we've been able to raise 7 children in this beautiful city, 5 daughters and 2 sons. They all went to both the public and private schools right here in Bowie. Heather Hills, Bowie High School, and the middle school over there. So I know about the city very, very well. How did I get involved with this? 2010. Because where I work currently still works for the past over 25 years as a nurse at VA, caring for elderly veterans. So we normally go out to do community outreach. So I went to go talk to those young kids. They call them developing kids around the Langley Park area. So the gentleman that spoke after me, because those kids did not believe that a man can be a nurse, so they didn't, So anyway, I encourage them that you can be anything you want to be, as long as you focus. Persistence is the quality of a winner. It is not how many times you fail. As long as you rise up, that's the quality of the winner. Winner never quit. 2011, I decided to run as a council member for this beautiful city. Why did I get involved? I look around. There is no African, no Nigerian. And we're men here. So that is lack of representation. As the moderator said, if you are not at the table to negotiate, you will definitely be on the menu somehow. Are they going to cut you? And they're going to reach you. We need representation to advance our issues. Anyway, to move along. So we started this stuff. I'm glad to see where the county is today and where the city is today. We've been able to elect 2 members, council members from Africa. We have our Mayor Pro Tem, and one of our guys who is one of our leaders who is on the state council, state delegate, Adrian Boafo. So we need to do more of that. We have the numbers in this city. We need to continue to engage, what is called civic engagement. That's what brought me to do this. And we're talking about issues in the city. The questions they asked me in 2011 is still the questions we are facing today. Schools for our children, quality education, public safety, development all around. Still issues we are facing. 12 years ago, we're still facing it. Yet, we continue to have elected officials representing us. So what's our issue? Why can't we sit and ask, like I said yesterday, detailed questions? You will hear too many. I just finished reading a book. Maybe you can go get it. It's called Double Speak. And then you're going to understand what's going on. You want somebody who is transparent, who will not yield without having you, the community, involved, so that we can really solve our issues. Non-permanent interest is the interest of all. I have served as a legislative intern at Annapolis with under Geraldine Valentino Smith, who served us in this city. I have been a mentor, coach and mentor to our children right here. Some of the money that we're going to, discretionary money, is going to go to improve our children's services, whatever we want to do for these kids, so they won't be truants running around the streets and, nobody's checking them. But if they have good activities to go after school, I think something will be done. So, I served with the diversity committee because I believe our inclusion, our diversity will bring us more closer together. And my motto is connecting District 3 communities. We can do it. So, and I'm not sure any of you are from District 3, but I have to thank the organizer for this because, like my fellow candidate said, when we start to discuss, we need to be candid in our discussions. We need to be candid in our discussions. Thank you. You know me, Gabby. I can't help it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Preston Thomas III. I am a lifelong resident of Bowie, born and raised, been here since 1992. I'm in Pointer Ridge Elementary School, Benjamin Tasker Middle School, Eleanor Roosevelt High School. I stayed local in the area for my associates in cybercrime investigation at PGCC. My bachelor's was completed at College Park and local campus. And then for my master's in government organization and leadership, as well as my Juris Doctor, I went to Omaha, Nebraska at Creighton University School of Law. Now I'm trying to get back to my community. I've been on the Community Outreach Committee for a while now, as well as the Green Team Executive Committee of the city. And my main things that I would like to change in moving Bowie towards the future is one, around community engagement. Bowie has grown so much since I was a kid. The people here have changed, the cultures have changed, and it's a great amalgam of different cultures. And that has its own individual communities, but at the same time, we're still all one big community in the city, which is why I'm running for council at large. Because I realized I didn't say that either. But when it comes to community engagement, I want to make sure that all your needs are met. And by doing that, your council members have to be accessible. You have to be able to reach them in places other than just a council meeting where you have to register and sign up and be very formal. I want to make sure that everyone has my phone number, everyone has my email address, everyone is able to reach me and voice their concerns, their opinions, their wants, their needs for the city. In addition to community engagement, as everyone else has said, I also want to focus on public safety. And that does our police department, making sure that we can hire and retain our officers, making sure that we can recruit officers from other departments. bring in some more lateral transfers who are already trained up and get them on the streets already. The main thing I've heard is that we want more police engagement. You know, as a city, we're very great in terms of our community policing. But at the same time, we just need to weigh how we do traditional policing as well. And that means patrolling and being on the streets as well. Additionally, you know, one of the major things in the city has to do with our budget and has to do with our economic development. When it comes to development, we need to have infrastructure to go with our development when it's new. We can't be building all these new spaces and not have the infrastructure to go with it, causing traffic jams, causing headaches for everyone. We have to focus on increasing our infrastructure. And at the same time, we also need to focus on revitalizing the old buildings that we have. We have many empty office buildings, many different retailers, many empty restaurants. And we need to do more to support people who want to open new businesses. One of the things about this city is that people love and want to be entrepreneurs, but it's hard. I've heard from multiple residents that as a small business, they would love to potentially have a retail space, and they don't seem to have a way to easily have access to that. And we need to figure out a way, other than just our Bowie BIC, which is the Bowie Innovation Center, that supports businesses. We need to be able to do more. We need, for one thing, the Bowie BIC's website hasn't been updated since 2021. We just need to do more in terms of supporting people, supporting our businesses, supporting our economic growth throughout the city. And then as we do change and grow and work, we want to make sure that we're doing it in a way that's both environmentally safe and sustainable. So that way we don't have things running down and breaking in the future. But I will let go next.
And unfortunately, time is not our best friend.
Yeah. If I was going to be here, it took a long time. Sorry.
27 years, I'm sorry. My wife and I raised both of our sons. Now they're young adults. And I am an entrepreneur and founded Tightened Up barbershops in the Bowie areas. We've done that in 2001, and we were able to grow tremendously. If I would have went to high school, if I would have went to college rather, it would have been Tuskegee because of Booker T. Washington in terms of his foundation and being able to be something of an institute that is built by blacks and that is for blacks. So I definitely appreciate this opportunity. As the candidates already spoke on public safety, economic development, you will hear all those things, community engagement. Prior to me sitting on the council, I was elected in February 21st of this year. Adrian Boaf was OC, and in that short period of time, I've learned so much about our city, and at the same time, understanding the policies. One of the things I'm so adamant about is revitalizing the businesses that we have. 3 of my businesses, barbershops, came from businesses that had left the city, like hair cuttery and different business like that, and we were able to come in and reinvent just a new brand. Opportunities for entrepreneurs, public safety is important as well. So both of my sons are now adults, and they're like, look, it's time for you to make sure you're at the table. I want to leave with this. I know I'm getting tapped. I know I'm getting tapped, but I do want to leave with this. You know, if you feed a person, if you teach a person how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. If you teach him how to own the pond, he will feed generations after him. And so that is what Bowie is about. It's not so much about us, but it's about these young people as well as the next generation. So didn't mean to take too much of your time.
So good evening, everyone. So I apologize for my lateness. I had yaya duty, and I had to wait until I got a reprieve, and Grandpa wasn't doing too well. So anyway, I'm here, and I thank you for this opportunity. My name is Wanda Rogers. I just want to make sure I can see you. My name is Wanda Rogers, and I am running for a Bowie City Council member at large. I have been a resident of Prince George's County for 43 years and a resident of Bowie for 24 years. I live in Woodmore Highlands section right off of Church Road in Bowie. I am a retired federal employee. I spent 36 years in the Department of Treasury, Bureau of Fiscal Service, where I was a senior executive over multi-million-dollar programs and projects. I am also currently the president of the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce right here in Bowie. I am very much into making sure that small minority business owners get the attention and the resources that they need to be successful. And the Bowie Chamber of Commerce is a chamber that has majority small businesses. We have a couple big, but majority are small businesses. So as far as my platform is concerned, I have 3, but I added 4th, and I'll start with the 4th, which is I really want to be an advocate for our students and our parents and our teachers in the Prince George's County school system, recognizing that we in Bowie don't have much control over the education aspects of the county, but we can influence, and I've already reached out to the Board of Education's representative for our area, just to talk about some things. You know, Bowie High School needs to be replaced. It's been around for a while. Kids are going to the annex, and I know my youngest went to the annex, and it was bad back then, so I know it's worse now. We want to make sure that we keep Pointer Ridge Elementary School open. That was not very well planned for. I mean, they thought that they didn't have enough kids to fill it. Economic development is very important for me, but it has to be strategic. We have to think about our economic development. We don't want to become overdeveloped like Northern Virginia, but we do want to have a good balance because we get good taxes from businesses. We don't want all the taxes to come out of our pockets. I also am an advocate for fiscal accountability. I spent 36 years managing the finances of the U.S. Treasury for the federal government, and I bring that same discipline with me to Bowie City Council, and I am looking for improved public safety. We have a great police department, but we're short officers, and it's hard to get police officers in. But not only that, as probably others have talked about, there's speeding and the traffic and things of that sort. So that's me. I'm Wanda Rogers. Please consider me when you vote November 7th for member at large. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Robert Day. I am running for District Council seat in District 4. I am probably the newest member of that have moved to Bowie. I moved to Bowie about 18 months ago. I came from College Park, where I was a council member, where I was publicly active in the city for about 25 years. I actually was a council member there for 10 years. I can tell you my policies and the issues that I really want to fight are being, really responsive about our educational system that we have here. You just heard my colleague talk about it. I'm going to tell you I've done it. We have the ability to change what we put in front of our kids in our school systems. I have stood up a public charter with the help of my friends at the University of Maryland while I was on the city council that is now the #2 leading high school in the county. So we are making a difference. I'm currently in discussions with my board as the chair of the board. I'm currently in discussions with them to bring College Park Academy, the model, to Bowie. So this is something we've already talked to the superintendent about, and we're going back to him shortly after that in probably a couple of weeks to talk to him again about it. Another one of my issues that I want to address is public safety. We need to make sure that our city is funding what we need for police and for fire department. The fire department needs the apparatuses that they need to protect our people. and to put out the fires, especially with the lithium batteries that everybody has at this point. When you see all the scooters and things like that, when those things catch on fire, you cannot put them out unless you have the right apparatus to do so. So another one of my issues is public engagement. I will tell you, after being in the public for 25 years and working with people in the city of College Park, Greenbelt, Riverdale Park, and all of the different municipalities around, I have built a real strong understanding of what it takes to bring people to the table. Because the policies and the issues that we take forward as a council have to be something that is represented by you in your voice when you talk to us. We have to listen and hear every side of things, the good and the bad. And we have to develop policies that are going to address those issues and move them forward. Then we have to work with our council to try and build a united front as we move those policies forward. So I've got plenty more to say, but I know we have time, and I just want to pass it back. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of your responses. Greatly appreciate it. We understand that the African diaspora in Prince George's County make up about 29% of the population and owns about 45% of all small businesses. And we also know that small businesses are often the backbone of local economies, right? So when you think about contract procurement, right? When you think about business expansion, businesses having access to financing so they can continue to expand, I would like you to tell us what measures would you implement to support small business development and entrepreneurship, keeping those things in mind that I just mentioned. Please, no more than 60 seconds, please.
You can give us 30, but they'll take 60. Okay. So, being the president of the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce has given me that opportunity to work with small businesses because I am a small business owner and I understand the struggle. Some things that are very clear and easy for bigger companies aren't for us. When we talk about our minority business enterprise and having the certification so that you can do business with the state, it's hard to do that. So as president of the chamber, what I have done is I've reached out to the Bowie Business Innovation Center, the Bowie BIC, I heard someone mentioning when I came in, to see what we can do to partner with training. The Bowie BIC gets about $100,000 a year from the city of Bowie to help fund out. The city's not the only entity, as well as the county, and they get money from the city, the county, and the college. So the thing is, what can we do to leverage those things to help other smaller businesses? And I would just mention during COVID, the Chamber of Commerce, and we lost just about almost half of our population because of COVID, because people couldn't afford to keep their businesses going. So one thing we did was get a grant from the city of Bowie to help get training, help keep businesses at least afloat until we got through the aspects of COVID. It was more around the training and the resources, getting them prepared to take advantage of those things in the future. So I will continue to do that as a small business owner when I become a member of the council. Thank you.
I didn't say this before, but sorry for being late because I was actually battling a cyber security problem at Howard University. The Russians had tried to get into our things, and we had to stand up and fight back. I'm on the Maryland Cybersecurity Board, and I actually work at Howard as a chief senior technical project manager, one of the many things I do. For businesses to thrive, they need the tools to be able to grow. They need to have access to funding. They need to have access to grants that are available to them. And all that happens at the state and federal level, and some at the city level. We need to work with the county, the state, and the federal to have those discussions and expose our businesses here to those grants and policies and things so they can learn how to get the grants, writing the proposals, talking to the right people, meeting the right groups, and bringing them to the table with our partners. We have a very strong chamber here. We have a very strong economic development corporation in Prince George's County and in the city. And we have a state corporation that will help with that kind of thing. So we need to bring them to the table and get our businesses in front of them so that they can actually learn and be exposed to the funding and the grants that are available for them to grow.
Thank you for the question. And it's nice to not be first because I only agree with everything that you're saying. But I was an early proponent of BIC. Before we even established it, I've been talking to the city manager about implementing it. And I think maybe we need to evaluate and see if we can expand and enhance it so it can benefit more businesses, especially small businesses in Bowie. I would look at grants program for the city and see if we can leverage something from the state and county and federal government, as well as looking to see if there are any kind of tax incentives, tax breaks that the city can establish that would possibly assist and benefit small businesses. And one thing I know over the years there's been an ebb and flow with the participation of businesses with the chamber, and I think one of the goals that Wanda Rogers, as the president, has is to expand the membership. I think the city ought to possibly partner with the chamber in order to see, not only to enhance their membership numbers and what have you, but are there ways that we can work together to help raise up the small, newly established businesses in a meaningful way that would benefit all of us. So those are just a few comments on that. Thank you.
All right, this is a wonderful question that gets me so excited because earlier this year I left my corporate job at Amazon and started my own business. So all of the struggles that you're talking about are things that I'm currently experiencing. So it feels like I'm in this problem-solving mode because not only have I had the opportunity to watch and talk to and sit with many of the local businesses that are here in Bowie, I'm also starting my own and hoping to be the next unicorn and $1 million business. So, coming out of Bowie, so we can put Bowie further on the map. So I'm not reading from my phone, but essentially I wrote down notes when a lot of people were talking. To speak on what some of the things we've already done. The grant that Wanda referenced for training during COVID, I led that initiative. That was essentially proposed to be a $1 million grant for small businesses during COVID. However, due to some of the differences on our city council, it got knocked down to $200,000. So during that time, during COVID, we provided $200,000 in resources and access and training to small businesses that were in the city of Bowie to be able to sustain them through COVID. That's number one. So that's some of the examples of some of the stuff that we already have done. Now, if I look into the future, what would I like to see and what would I like to do as it pertains to small businesses? And believe there are a couple of things. Number one, businesses I don't really think a lot of small businesses need further training. They need access to resources and funding. They need access to be able to get the certification that they need to be able to compete in this lifetime to get access to certain essential businesses and certain opportunities. That's number one. So really providing funding for resources so that they can be more competitive and get access to a lot of the bids that are out here that currently don't go to our small businesses. That's the first part. Number two, there are a number of different entities that are out here within the state of Maryland. TEDCO is a really great example that provides grant and provides funding. We need to have a deeper partnership and a deeper relationship with some of these entities like the Maryland Technology Council and others, who I invited the Maryland Technology Council head to speak at one of our last city council meetings, to really talk about ways that we can better leverage their resources and how we can have a deeper partnership. Number three, we need to really make sure that we're providing an intentional partnership to businesses who are looking at expanding. I know myself personally, many of the small businesses that are already here, I've taken a very active role to connect them to the developments that are coming online, and the ones that are already existing. So when you think about C&K Lounge over there in Collinson Plaza, I connected him with Mill Branch Crossing to talk about putting a restaurant over there, to talk about his goals and expansion, to see how we can support. You talk about the wonderful establishment that we're in now. Well, they just got approved for a liquor license. I wrote a letter of support to make sure that they could get their liquor license. So those are some of the examples. Another example, the last example that I want to leave you with, or the last two, is strategic partnerships. There are a number of different organizations like Washington Area Community Investment Fund, Truist, Microsoft, and others that have these opportunities already available for small businesses. Why have we not approached them to really talk about targeted strategic partnership to provide that access to our community? Because they're down the street and they're already here providing that funding. So it's really being intentional about the way that we go about this and reaching out to people that are already doing the work and getting them to dedicate a portion of that funding, a portion of those resources specifically for the small businesses in Bowie. And the last one that I'll mention is providing local community hubs so that we can promote and foster ideation. We talk about the next generation. There are so many brilliant minds that are in our community right here, right now. So why haven't we been able to provide them with the space to be able to ideate, to incubate, to get the mentorship that they need from the businesses that are already doing successful and amazing things that are already here, so that they can expand as well. So if I'm reelected, those are some of the things that I focus on. Thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate the question. My introduction to politics was surrounded around minority business. My mentor, his name is Herman Taylor. He taught me the importance of minority, local, small business, and how it is actually the backbone of our community, our society, provides jobs and provides stability to our communities. Some things that I think that the city can do, I think that we should have a robust procurement fair to trade ideas, to share information, provide access to capital. Other levels of government do it, but the city of Bowie being the 5th largest municipality in the state, that's something that we should lead on. And as a robust city with a bunch of small businesses, especially minority businesses, this is something that we should lead on. Also, as a city council, we've talked about it, we've taken stabs at it, but one thing we're going to have to really do is create an economic development strategic plan that acknowledges the differences within our city. We're a large city. Things and desires in District 1 may not be the same in District 4 and everywhere in between. But we need that strategic plan, not only so we can be effective and efficient with our tax dollars and what we're doing in our land and our development, but also signal to small businesses what opportunities are available, where they are available geographically, and how we can partner. And finally, something that I think hasn't been talked about too much, obviously the federal, state, and county government, they have set asides for local, small, and minority businesses. I think to a degree, we should look at what we can do in the city as we're talking about infrastructure, as we're spending dollars on certain procurement projects. We can see, like, hey, can we find that local business that can do that work, or maybe subcontract on that work, or a minority business. These are some of the things that I'm thinking about, and I would love to implement if I'm on the city council. Thank you.
Candidates, please keep your answers at 30 to 60 seconds. I'm sorry.
Sure, you give the warning when I'm starting. I don't understand. Where was everybody else? All right, I'll do what I can to keep it to 5-10 minutes. The first thing is, the Bowie Bake has been mentioned. I've been a big supporter of that. It's been mentioned a number of times. A tremendous resource for the community, for the business community, and it provides a lot of educational resources, but it also connects people with other resources, funding and connections, and how to get into business. So I think that's a tremendous thing. We need to continue supporting that. There is something else that we need to do, and it involves you. It involves the Bowie Chamber of Commerce, and that is working to fix the problem we have in Prince George's County with DPI. Getting anything done in this county is a train wreck. Anybody seen the Raising Cane's restaurant up on 3 in Crofton? That's in Anne Arundel County. We are going to be getting a Raising Cane's here in Bowie. Both of them started at the same time. They are running a business up there for a couple of months now. All they've been able to do here in Prince George's is tear down the old building. They haven't put up the new structure, they haven't hired anybody, they haven't taken their first red cent of revenue for their business. that is inexcusable, and it's a burden on the community. It causes people to set up businesses elsewhere. I've spoken to restaurateurs. I asked them, why don't you locate in Bowie? And they said, you know, the county and all the permits and so forth. I think this is an opportunity for us as a city council, your organization, and the rest of the business community to get together and work with the county to apply a little pressure to get people to start making some changes. It won't be easy, but I think it's critical to make that a viable business environment for our entrepreneurs and particularly our small businesses who can afford it least. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. It's an excellent question. I, again, running for Bowie City Council District 1. So I have been going around District 1 talking to businesses. Thank you, City Chef. They're very supportive of my effort, but I wouldn't have known that they were there if I wasn't running. And so I have taken the opportunity as a candidate just to go to all, well, not all, okay, I'm not going to tell that tale, but to go to as many businesses as I can, small businesses, because the big ones, they can take care of themselves. The small ones need more input from the community, they need more access, more of everything. And as a member of the Bowie City Council, I look forward to continuing my journey through the small businesses that are in and adjacent to District 1 to see how we can help, how we can add, and what new can we bring. Old Town needs a lot, and so there's lots of opportunity, and I look forward to working with the small businesses to bring them those opportunities. Thank you.
Again, my name is Yamide House, and I'm running for the District 3 seat on Bowie City Council. And as a business owner, one of the things that I think is also forgotten is the increased cost of staffing. As many of you know who own businesses, minimum wage continues to rise, and so that means that businesses require more money to stay afloat. So absolutely, I think it'd be important to, one, utilize our natural network where we have Bowie High School, Bowie State University, and create more internships to help businesses develop at a lower cost. And so absolutely that would be an idea I would utilize. Another one, as Councilman Wolfley had stated, I'm interested in advocating for the city to streamline the permitting process so that we could have possibly a concierge working within the city to the county to decrease the time that it takes for permitting. And then lastly, I absolutely think that the city should incentivize businesses that we need. Again, as the only candidate with school-age children, daycare, aftercare, and activities for our teenagers are something that the city needs. And if we can get businesses to set up shop here and support the families that are here, we absolutely can solve some of these very difficult problems. Again, I'm a mental health clinician. Solving difficult problems is what I do every single day.
Good evening to those of you who just came in. I'm Monica Roebuck, and I'm running for District 2 City Council. Our businesses are very important. They provide jobs. They're the economic engine for our community, so we have to support them. What I would say is we need to look at our budget to take the money in our budget and reinvest that into people in the community who want to have their business. And so it's important that we support our businesses to make sure that they have the resources and the funding that they need to be successful. We have Bowie State right down the street, and I know they have an incubator, and through the budget, we can create that, if not already, an incubator service right here in the Bowie area so that residents who want to have a business can succeed. The state of Maryland has a minority certification and women's certification process, and we need to link our residents to that and educate them about that process. We don't have any control over the permitting process in the county. We can work work with and develop relationships with the people that are on the county level. I have been endorsed by Walla Bugay, who is our county council chairperson, and so having those relationships is extremely important to get things done in the city. Thank you.
I promise not to take too much time. I promise. But really, in every developing city, small businesses are the real core of the stuff. And it will help the city to increase its commercial taxes also. Now, everybody has said the same thing. What we need to do really, all these businesses, we need to connect them to a lot of things have been said, to the funding, because when they lack the knowledge of where they could go get it, they're not going to get it. So we need to create an entity that whatever your business is, whatever level you are able to, we show you where to access the funding that you need. And also, on the council, I'm going to request businesses to put something back into the city so that it will be working relationship with each other in terms of helping to do some programs and stuff like that so that our community will want to patronize you more. It's a win-win situation. So as many have said, we need to show businesses where they can get the funding and also connect them with those who have the power to do those things, and we need to engage our leaders on the county to ease the burden on the taxes and all the stuff.
Okay. So, I would say I agree with a lot of the things that people have said up here. That's one of the biggest benefits and problems are going near towards the end. I'll say for small businesses in particular, you know, as I mentioned earlier, the Bowie BIC is a huge resource that they can use. But there are a lot of other resources in the city and in the state that businesses don't technically know about. You know, not everyone knows about the Maryland Small Business Development Center. Not everyone knows about the Maryland Women's Business Center. Not everyone knows about the Maryland Apex Accelerator. These are all places where you can make appointments and meet these people either directly at the Bowie BIC or even at City Hall. You can go there and get training and get resources to help your businesses. And not only is the issue not having access to the resources, it's not knowing about it. You know, the city in general, I've heard it's just very bad at disseminating information to people. And people need to know what resources there are. They need to know what they have the availability to access. But at the same time, you know, as some of the other candidates have said, making sure that we have this type of events and expos that can support these small businesses and get them out there in front of the community is extremely important as well. But there you go.
Thank you. Clinton Truesdale for District 3. I had enough time to kind of just jot a few things down. I agree with a lot of the candidates up here in terms of working with BIC and working in areas of getting grants on a city level as well as county level in terms of helping getting the small business resources. Two, I would like to work in collaboration with DPI. One of the things that a lot of people they kind of get thrown off in terms of having the city. I think the city we should provide training, help train for that. We expand. I was in the middle of a pandemic, just like everybody else was 3 years ago, and we were expanding in the middle of a pandemic, and so DPI was a very great resource for us. A code and ethic from the city. We have to, you know, ensure that that we're not. We're in compliance with the county. A lot of business owners that have problems with opening up, like CK Lounge, like one of the candidates mentioned. It took them 22 months to open, and a lot of that had to do with just having the guidance to be able to go through with DPOC and make those things happen. Lastly, Business Youth Authority. I think that this is important in terms of people that live in the city, that have businesses in the city. There should be some type of incentive. There's something that needs to be created. We are that important. I went to Montana last year in a small, beautiful town called Bozeman in Montana. They have limited businesses that can come in terms of McDonald's. You don't see a McDonald's or you don't see a Roy Rogers within a 7-mile radius, but all the businesses that are created in that community, they are able to have that resource. They are able to, provide that culture and those type of businesses. Because at some point we have to get past just the small businesses, and we have to start owning some of these shopping centers that are out here. Because a lot of these shopping plazas are owned by people that are outside of the state and some outside of the country. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So these questions that we're asking, we're not just asking just to ask, because we're asking them because they are some of the priorities of the African diaspora. So it is imperative that we hear from each one of you, which is why I could have perhaps singled maybe 2 or 3 of you to answer individual questions, but I think it's important for each one of you to have an opportunity to really answer so that they can know where you stand on these vital issues. So the next question is centered around education. As we know, the African diaspora, just like every other community here in America, truly values education. And many of you have gone to college, you have master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, and you've done well for yourself. And African parents want to ensure that their children too have a shot at the American dream. But we understand that education is the foundation, and our children need a quality education in order to propel to the next level. So in the context of Bowie High School, we understand that the school has faced significant challenges beyond the fact that the school needs repairs, but it's the quality of education that the students are receiving that is not up to par. It is not setting them up for success. We know currently Bowie High School is ranked number 6,924 in the United States. And in the state of Maryland, it is ranked 70 out of 127 schools. So that is incredibly problematic. And you have parents who are hardworking, citizens who are paying taxes, but yet they have to look at other alternatives to ensure that their children have access to quality education. So we're looking at private school, which is very costly. So I would like to hear from each one of you, what kind of policy would you have in place to address this dire need in this community? Thank you.
Could you start down here? Just so we can have more time.
You guys are the boss.
Thank you for that question. So I think one of the policies that's very important is that the accountability and on both sides with teachers getting paid more. I definitely agree. My sons are out of school now, but for the most part they went through public school and private and back to public school. So at the end of the day, they didn't go to college. I think we need to kind of focus more on what does the American dream look like now? And education is the foundation. At the same time, everyone is not going to go to college, but at the same time, you have vocational or you have trade schools that can help to kind of gear and direct a lot of our young people into entrepreneurship and owning their own businesses. And I think entrepreneurship means more than just owning a business and having an idea of a business, but that proper training of whatever business or whatever trade that you have, that you do, that you're able to do that, whether it's plumbing, whether it's electrical, whether it's barbering, whatever it is, you're able to do that with your hands, and at the same time, you're able to take that level of training to manage others into an environment that will build a business. And then we carry on the idea of the American dream.
So, growing up in the city, education is obviously very important to me. You know, having gone through the education system here in our county, one of the first things obviously we have to realize is that the city council doesn't have a lot of control over it. And so for me, the main thing for us to do is to figure out ways that we can support our education system here. You know, for me, what that looks like is creating some supplemental education programs, whether that's academics, but I also think that we need to focus on also teaching children skills that they may not learn at home. So what that would look like would be, financial literacy. That would be cooking. That would be home repair improvement. Kind of similar to Clint's point about trades. Not everyone goes the preparatory route. I've written papers in law school about how in other areas, I studied comparative law there, and in other areas, when you get to high school, you have a preparatory route and a trade route. And being able to create kind of a supplemental program for our children here would be able to kind of let people have that route as well. But also additionally, we have to be strong advocates as city council directly to the school board and directly to the county to get the type of things and improvements that we want to see, whether that's stopping a school from closing or getting another school that we need in the city. We have to be able to work and collaborate with these other members of our local government.
When we talk about education, no community grows without having strong education as a support. Now, I am a product of 2 high school graduates, and as my parents want me to do better, so I love soccer. They want me to go to be doctor and all that stuff. I didn't want to do all of that. But I'm thankful that I listened, because he said, okay, if you don't want to do that, why don't you go learn a trade? So I became a printer before I left Nigeria. I came here just to get my diploma as a printer and go back to Oyo State Printing Press. My creator says he has a better plan for me. I'm still here. So learning, we need to, our education to our children, we need to supplement it. Not all kids, not all children are meant for all these universities and all this stuff. But getting them the right stuff, asking them, not forcing them, asking them, what do you want to do? And giving them the support, I believe we will raise good children and give them better education. It is about them. We parents do so much. We want to be part of, we should encourage our children. What do you want to do? And give them that support as a parent. That is my style of education. And also, we should, as been said, the city, I keep saying that we need to invest more with the Bowie teen, youth, and mentoring stuff. I was a mentor there, and I know what I saw at Bowie High School. I mentored our children there. We need to put more money into mentoring. That is a strong education background there. Our children will benefit more. We need to work with the county people, the so-called school board stuff. Honestly, this is the only way we can move forward. We keep talking about the same game all the time. Let us put action in place to get our children educated the right way.
Thank you for the question. This is very near and dear to my heart as an educator. I've been in the school system in Prince George's County for 25 years. I've taught at Benjamin Tasker and at Samuel Ogle. And so, as was mentioned, the city council does not have purview over the school system, but we can work with the school system. Bowie has some of the best schools in the county. And so with that being said, we have to advocate and work with the PG County School Board to take a position on the things that we want. I would recommend we go to the meetings, we talk about how we want to keep Pointer Ridge open, and also just say, what are the things that we want, and work with our school board members. I have been endorsed also by Rahila Ahmad, who was our former school board member, because she knows that I'm very committed to education. We have a youth council here also in the city of Bowie, and we need to work with the students to find out what are the things that they want and what can they do to help us to understand what the youth are going through. We need vocational programs, we need programs after school, they need something to do so that they can be productive, learn a trade, because not every child will go to college. And I do agree with you that it's sad that parents have to pay additional money when you're already paying taxes into private school. So we want to work with the PTAs, work with the principals and the school systems to find ways that we can improve our schools. We have great schools, we have to get parents involved, and the only way that we're going to be able to do these things is to unite Bowie and come together as a community.
Good evening, I'm Amy House, running for District 3. I, again, am the only candidate on this ballot with school-age children, so this is near and dear to my heart. This is why I'm here. And I also had to decide to pay to get quality pre-K education for my twins, who are now in kindergarten. And that was a decision that I had to make because during COVID, I was not able to give them the type of attention I was able to give my daughter who was educated while school was open. I think it's really important that the city takes a very strong stance on what type of city we are going to be. And what does that mean? That means that we cannot have the best cities, or excuse me, the best schools in the county, but they all need to be renovated. Whitehall is the best school, one of the best schools in the county, and it has 5 trailers. Benjamin Tasker has 40 children to a classroom. And if we get together, as Monica said, and unify around what we want as a city, and then go ahead and advocate for those things, that is what, as a council, we should do, and that is what I would advocate for. And then the other pieces, like I said, incentivizing after-school activities, businesses to open here, so that supplemental education, which is so important, that parents, I know a lot of African parents pay for, like Kumon or Mathnasium. You shouldn't have to pay for that. Your school should be able to support that, and there are some great programs that are happening after school for that. Again, it is super important to me as a parent, and I therefore ask that you vote for me when you're thinking about that decision.
Excellent question. I will try very hard to cram it into 60 seconds. It's a huge issue, cannot be answered quite honestly in 60 seconds. So I'm going to concentrate on the Bowie High School piece, which was, as I understood, the main question here. So Bowie High School is in the top 20% in the state of Maryland. It has a 92% graduation rate, has a 19 to 1 teacher ratio. It is in the top 5% of reading proficiency, and all of this is happening with roughly 2,400 students. AP participation rate at Bowie High School is 35%. I personally believe that should be higher. I think that that would improve the parent appreciation rate for Bowie High School. Literacy is a part of everything that I do. I've been a volunteer at Bowie High School, even when my son was no longer there. Bowie is a great school. The teachers are very committed. I've worked with them, and I think that while there are concerns, and I'm not saying there are not concerns, they exist. But I think as we look at the issue, we need to look at not just the bad, but while we're working on the bad, appreciate the good. And I would suggest to all parents at Bowie High School, push AP. That has shown to improve appreciation rates. Thank you.
Thank you. Education is, the key to the success for so many of our children, and we are, as parents, work so hard to give them every advantage we can. When I was walking through the neighborhood knocking on doors, I was back behind the annex, the Bel Air Annex, and I looked out in the back of that school. It was deplorable. There was litter all over the place. There were unfinished pieces of trailers for the extra space. It was inexcusable. If that's the kind of environment we have when our children show up to school, what kind of expectation do we have that they will have any interest in it? It's not important. Clearly, we're telling them it's not important. So immediately I got on the phone when we worked with the school to get it cleaned up. Those are the types of things you have to do as a member of the community and as parents. Same thing at Bowie High School. I met with the superintendent not that long ago, and I said, this is inexcusable. We've had the same school with no improvements since my wife went to school there. And that's not acceptable for this community. I walked around that property a couple years ago. There was a tree growing in front of an emergency exit. How inexcusable is that? Now, how much does that cost? How much does it cost to pick up the litter? These are the things about attitudes, about how important it is for education and communicating that to our children so that they understand. Now, I'll say this, I very much want a new school in Bowie, but there are clearly things that we can do in the interim. And these are the sorts of things that we have to adjust. We do have to address teacher pay, we have to address a lot of issues to change this around. But we have to start with the things that we can do. And it's very difficult to put somebody in that position because you do want to do the best for your children. Thank you.
Appreciate the question. I went to Bowie High School, went to Point Ridge Elementary. The realities of both these schools are very concerning to me, and I'm doing all I can, and I believe as a council we're doing all we can to keep Point Ridge open. Bowie High School, I graduated in 2006. It's only gotten worse with regards to its infrastructure. The annex building, we still have freshmen going to the annex and not being unified with the rest of their classmates. That's something that we have to look at. We're going to need people on the city council and in our government that can go to the state, advocate for the proper funding, know how the budget process works. That's something that I do in my day job, and really work to bring that funding home so we can finally get a new school built. Whether it's a replacement for Bowie High School or something in South Bowie, I know that we've had a conversation about that. And then also I believe that going back to the small business conversation, there's opportunity, like with City Chef, for instance, to partner small business and education, get kids the proper almost internships or insider experience to help them understand what they may want to do in the future. And then also like maybe bring PTAs to some of our restaurants to help patronize them, to help support them, and also create safe spaces for people to hang out at. So that's the creativity that I think that we're going to need from the City Council.
Thank you for the question. It's a really good one. So shortly after I was elected in 2019, I worked with the Bowie High School principal, who was Joe, and connected him with Microsoft because Microsoft had a program called Microsoft Teals that provides computer science education in our high schools. Currently, Bowie High School has a 31% math proficiency rate, and only 29% of their students are enrolled in AP classes. That should tell you something about the state of affairs from the perspective of education at Bowie High School. So my thought there with pairing Bowie High School with Microsoft was for Microsoft to be able to provide new equipment, all of their new laptop, all of their computer science education funding, and then also provide the access to the mentorship from a lot of their professionals in corporate America that live in the city of Bowie, as well as Prince George's County. Now, of course, that program is still in the works and still in talks to make sure that they can designate Bowie High School as one of those schools. But those are some of the ways that us as a municipal government that does not have jurisdiction over education can help support the school. Absolutely, we all know that the school needs to be renovated. We know it needs to be updated, and we will continue to advocate about that with our state and local, our state and higher county elected officials. But the reality is, we also need to hold people accountable. People say that they're going to do a lot of things for Bowie when they're campaigning and don't actually ever deliver on them. And so I do think that it's time for us as a city government to increase our posture and really truly go after the accountability piece of the necessary improvements that need to happen in Bowie. Not just when it's election time and people want to come over here and get votes and talk about all the great things that they're going to do. We need to hold them accountable to actually doing that. The second thing that I'll just touch on in 5 seconds is also, we talk a lot about having options in the city of Bowie. I personally have been working with the county executive's office as well as our school board to bring a new school to South Bowie, which is District 4. That is a STEM-focused charter school. That STEM-focused charter school did go through their interview 2 weeks ago. The city council did provide them a unanimous letter of support for their application, and they are recommended to go forth for the school board on a vote in December. Should that get approved, they will open a new K-6 school in South Bowie with the hopes of going to 7 and 8 and then building a new high school. But the reality is most people are not going to come into a community and start at the high school level. They are always going to want to start at the middle school and the elementary level and work their way up to follow the child, because it can be very disruptive to just come into a community and start at the high school level when you haven't been there with the child from the beginning up. So those are some of the ways that we can continue to work to support finding other options and working with our county officials as well. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Again, Dennis Brady, I'm running for at-large to return to the council after a 8-year hiatus. Let me just real quickly talk about a couple of things. Before I retired from the federal government as electrical engineering, I was at NIST. They have a 20-megawatt nuclear reactor when I was on staff there. I was asked by the principal to come and speak at Career Day at Bowie High School. And 2 interesting observations I had. The first one's kind of humorous. One of the classes they asked me to speak to was a class of about 14 or 16 young ladies. It was a Spanish-speaking class. So I could never figure out why as an electrical engineer I was speaking to them. But we talked about, pursuing their grade, setting goals, going to college and what have you. But the tragic part of the flip side of that coin was I went into a math class and I was disappointed because the instructor, the teacher, had to plead with his students to sit down, had to plead with his students to put their Walkman type apparatus and what have you, before he could get started and let me speak to them. It was kind of a sad commentary on what was going on. Over my time when I was on the city council, and I hope it still is continuing, the city has always had a very strong advocacy role when it comes to education. We have fought closing the schools and changes school boundaries and what have you. We were tragically impacted when the Bellway sniper shot the student at Tasker, and the city was kind of really came together strong in support of the family, support of the schools and what have you. But I think some of the problem that we have with our school system is more along the lines of what our current society is all about. And I'm concerned that we are, if you look nationally, you see a lot of places where they question stuff that is being taught. They are trying to control what can be said or can't be said in classrooms and what have you. And I think we no longer are relying on subject matter experts to determine what should be taught in classrooms. And I think the total societal shift right now is the problem. And maybe what we need to do is come together, I've been thinking about this for the last few years, is come up with our church-based organizations, our groups like South Bowie Boys and Girls Club, different athletic groups. Any civic organization in the city, come together and let's have a discussion about elevating responsibility, personal responsibility, and the like in order to, maybe we can tinker a little bit with societal attitudes locally, where we can get it to where students are then strongly, not encouraged per se, but they have a thirst for education, thirst for learning. I spent 6 years in the Navy, used the GI Bill, put myself through college to get 2 bachelor's degrees, one in electrical engineering and one in nuclear engineering. And then after my wife and I got married, I allowed my employer to pay for my school to get my master's degree because I was motivated to do that. And I think maybe that is a strong element that is missing in today's society, that we need to get children and students to have a thirst for learning rather than this kind of, not erroneous, but I have to learn because mom and dad told me, or I have to do this because you gotta instill in them a thirst and a desire to move forward and what have you. So that's what I would suggest on that. There's a lot of other things we can do, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
All right, you heard me speak about College Park Academy, but let me really tell you my desire and fight and why I fight for education. My family has been fighting for education for people of color since the 1960s. My uncle started with a fight in Alexandria when they weren't allowed to go to school with white kids. His story is told in an athletic story, which is Remember the Titans. He has a school named after him. He has streets and other things named after him for the fight that he put forward. So my whole entire life, I've listened to the push for education. When I moved to Prince George's County, my wife and I made the decision that we were going to have our kids here and put them in school. My first child ended up going to Parkdale High School. If you know anything about schools in Prince George's County, Parkdale's not one of the best. He was held accountable for his actions. He was held accountable for getting his grades, and he graduated with honors and AP status because he took all AP classes in his 12th grade year. My second son went to private school. My third son went to College Park Academy. So I have seen it from all sides. I have fought the school board. Actually, Garland stood before them and argued to have the College Park model spread throughout the county. And it was pushed back because they didn't believe it would work. I know the policies that need to be happening in the city to make it work. I will make sure that we are fighting for the students of Bowie, not just Bowie High School, everybody, because the elementary and middle schools that feed them have to be held accountable too. The other thing is, you heard to talk about, AP courses in high school. College Park Academy just got its AP award, AP Honor Roll Award, which is a national award, for over 90% of our high school students having that are taking AP courses. We push hard. But the most important thing of anything when it comes to schools in Prince George's County is the voice of the parents. That's the voice of the parents to the school board, that's the voice of the parents to the school, and that's the voice of the parents being involved in the school through the PTA, the PTO, in whatever way they can offer their time and help and be seen as a member of that school. When the kids see that, they get excited. Sometimes they get a little embarrassed because they don't want to do it in front of their father, but they get excited about it and they want to be there. So, when you talk about pushing on that, I believe the city has a role and I can tell you that the most important role is played by the parents who go there. The last thing I'll say, they brought up about the trade schools. Very, very important, because not every child is going to go to a university. And that means giving every person an opportunity to grow and move forward in life with pride.
Thank you. I will just say, it's just as everyone else said, that the city of Bowie does not control the school system, but we can influence those that represent us. So I made a few notes as people were talking, and education is a big deal to me. I have an undergrad degree in education, and so does my husband. We live in a society that's based on a knowledge-based economy. So that means that our greatest export is our knowledge. And what we value in this society is athletics and entertainment. It's a fact. So I have 3 daughters. All 3 out of the 3, I have 3 bachelor's degrees, 3 master's degrees, and a doctoral candidate right now. 3 of them went to public school. 1 had to be taken out of public school to go to private school in 9th grade and through high school. So what we learned was that it's not about the education system itself, it's about the parents and the parents' engagement. As I think Dennis mentioned, classroom management is a huge deal for teachers. I'm quite sure Monica can subscribe to that. It's a huge deal. So I'll also, and one is in Baltimore City as a psychologist in a elementary school. And there's one thing I'll say, and then I'll end it. In Baltimore, they have a program called the Judy program that was founded by Steny Hoyer's wife, Judith Hoyer, where they actually engage with the parents in the family unit, because families are very important to quality education. They engage with the families, with the parents and the children when they first start 2-3 years old, and they are looking at how that can be a successful program that can be rolled out further in this state. Thank you for my extra time.
I'm going to hand you the microphone to provide us with some closing remarks or anything that you wish to share with the audience about your platform and your ideas as it relates to ensuring economic growth for the city of Bowie. So I think I should start down this way. Okay.
Can you give us 30 seconds?
30 seconds. So I have it written down, and I do want to just piggyback real quick on the education part with Bowie High School. That in 2006, our barbershops, we started an entrepreneurship apprentice program. So their 11th grade Bowie High School students were able to get their credit, and by the time they graduated out of high school, they had their barber's license. And some went on to college and were able to, work in the dormitories there while they were going to school. So I just wanted to put that there. But let me share with you what it means in terms of what it means to be a steward of true representation. Truesdale, my last name is Truesdale. I'm running for District 3, y'all. All right. That means that I'm a servant. I'm a leader. I'm fully engaged. I am a resource. I am responsive. I am dedicated. I am an advocate for families. I'm an advocate for senior communities. I am an advocate for homeowners and for our new homeowners that are homeowners that are looking to be in this beautiful city of Bowie that we have. I'm an advocate for public safety. I'm a businessman. I support entrepreneurship. I support growth, development, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I am a voice that will continue to truly represent the District 3, Bowie, Maryland, and I am Clinton Truesdale, your city councilman, and I ask for your vote on Tuesday, November 7th. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming out here again. My name is Preston Thompson III, running for Bowie City Council at large. You know, when it comes to economic growth in the city, it's obviously extremely important. And with all aspects and all points of my policy, it really comes down to three things. You know, my slogan that I kind of been using is renew, revitalize, reimagine. And what that basically means is renewing the incredible service Bowie has, you know, and its dedication to its community, and not adding an additional burden of cost to its residents. You know, revitalizing those empty buildings, revitalizing our parts of our city that need to be preserved, and kind of restoring the economic growth that has been paused due to all these vacancies. One of the things that we could potentially do for that is, you know, incentivize some of the owners to lease out their spaces. I get that all.
We have the timer on, actually.
Babatunde Alegbeleye, I'm running for District 3 seat. I forgot to mention to you guys, I'm a proud parent of 2 teachers giving back to the community, and they are teaching both STEM subjects, so I'm excited about that. Now, talking about our issues in the city, it's the same old issue we're talking about: education, development, and public safety. We have the power to do that when we all come together as a community to do that. My slogan is connecting District 3 communities. So my job on a daily basis is taking care of our veterans for the past 25 years. I'm a nurse at the VA. I advocate for other people, being a union leader, and talking to people is one thing that I love. I'm a transformational expert. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Monica Roebuck, and I want to ask for your vote on November the 7th. I am committed to serve, and we are facing some very serious issues in our city, and I'm here to unite our district, bring it together to fight the crime that we're dealing with, and also addressing the public safety, making sure that we have the quality of life that we've had in the past and continue with that. I also want to make sure I support the businesses. They are also at the heart of our community. They provide jobs and they support our economy because government can't do it all. I want to make sure that students have the programs that they need to be successful because they are the future leaders of our community. And so on November the 7th, please vote Monica Roebuck for City Council. Remember Roebuck.
Excellent on time.
All right, good evening again. My name is Yamini House. I am a first-generation daughter of the diaspora. My mother immigrated from Sierra Leone, West Africa. I am a daughter of educators. I am a mother to Taiwo and Kehinde. I am a business owner. I'm a licensed mental health clinician. I promise to be effective and be solutions-oriented. I promise to be inclusive and represent everyone. I promise to be responsive. You will be able to reach me and I will come back and contact you if you cannot. And I humbly ask for your vote on November 7th. Again, Yamini House running for District 3.
Excellent on time.
Thank everybody for coming. I am Jen Dewberry. I'm running for Bowie City Council in District 1. I have decades of community service. I have decades of managing federal contracts. I have the skills to manage Bowie's budget. I will be working to make sure that we maintain the great quality of life that we have here in Bowie, working on public safety, continue the work with the police department, but also with infrastructure. It's key, it affects quality of life. Smart growth and economic development are always important, working with the small businesses and redevelopment in Old Town specifically, but Bowie as a whole. Old Town because it's in District 1, because I do want to be the positive voice for your vote in District 1 on November 7th. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Again, my name is Dufour Wolfley. I'm your Bowie District 2 City Councilman. I want to thank you for having me here. I'll do two things. The first is I'll ask for your vote. And then perhaps the more important thing is I'd like your engagement. I would like to hear more from you. I would like you to be engaged with the community, with this city, to help improve the circumstances for small businesses in the community here. So I look forward to seeing you on an ongoing basis in the future. Thank you.
It's better than next one. It's better. I did less than a minute.
Good evening, everyone. Again, Jared Hawkins. I'm your at-large Bowie City Council member. Really appreciate the conversation about economic development within the city. Again, a few things that I have focused on and will continue to focus on if I'm elected on November 7th. Revitalizing some of our older commercial centers and taking the initiative on that. Also supporting our local small businesses through procurement, taking the initiative on economic development with regards to strategic planning to provide that forecast for small businesses, and acknowledging the differences within districts. Old Town Bowie has a different desire and reality compared to District 4. Acknowledging those differences and finding a pathway forward. Appreciate the time and look forward to engaging with you in the future. Thank you.
I want to close out by saying Africans represent the largest immigrant population in Bowie. We are 35% of the immigrant population. Throughout my last 4 years, I have fought for the community. I have been a voice for my residents, and even oftentimes been misrepresented by many of my colleagues. But far too often is that our story. I am a voice for the unheard, and I will continue to put forth the policies and the future that we need to see here in the city of Bowie, because the time is now. And we have so many priorities that are facing us, and we can change the course for Prince George's County and move our city forward in a way that integrates every community and achieves all of our goals. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Dennis Brady again. I'm running for that large position. I ask for your vote on November 7th. If passed as prelude, all you have to do is look at my past record for 22 years, the fiscal responsibility that I exhibited, the dedication to addressing public safety as well as economic development. I have, unique with this group up here, an institutional knowledge that surpasses many of them. If you look at some of the things, the positive things in the city that occurred while I was on the city council, the new city hall, the new gymnasium, the new senior center, the Center for the Performing Arts, and the dog park are just to name a few. I will continue to act responsibly on behalf of the citizens and moving forward if you return me to the seat as at-large. And again, Dennis Brady for at-large on November 7th.
Hello, my name is Robert Day. Once again, I'm running in District 4, and I am a strong voice for the people of Bowie. I have a history of standing up and fighting for everyone. I listen to the constituents. I take their recommendations, turn those into policies, and work with the council to build real action for our city. So, I humbly ask for your vote on November 7th. Just remember, Robert Day.
Thank you, Wanda Rogers, running for member at large, and I have mine written down. So aside from being a wife, mother, grandmother, oldest of 6 siblings, and a business owner, I have resided in Bowie for 24 years. I am a woman of faith. Integrity and empathy are the go-to values for me. With 36 years plus in the federal government, I am a strategic thinker with a bias toward action. Context and results make me happy. Rules are important. I'm a quick study, an honest broker, hard worker, and straight shooter. It is my hope that you will consider and vote for me for Bowie City Council member at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It has truly been an honor serving as the moderator for this evening's forum, and I think the public learn a great deal about your position on issues that really matter to them the most. So at this time, I'm going to hand the microphone over to my colleague, Vincent, who will close the program. Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
I want to say thank you to all the candidates for coming, and I think one of the council member Brady pointed it out to me that some of you did not receive the notification for this. As you well know, that is the problem, that we, the diaspora, don't have as much information as we should have. So it's a bridge that needs to be built. As the moderator said before we started, in Prince George's County alone, the African diaspora are about 24% of the population. And we own 50% of the small businesses in the county. But until the new county executive, Angela Alsobrook, came on board, we never had any representation. So we worked to make sure that that happened. I'm the chairman of the African diaspora. I'm the president of the new Maryland African Chamber of Commerce. So part of what we want to do is to have a dialogue with the council members in Bowie. Why? Because in Bowie alone, we are an integral part of this community. But again, prior to Boafo and Roxy being elected, we didn't have any representation. And we've also noticed a lot of bias when it comes to some of our businesses here, in terms of harassment from the city, and also not having the council's support some of the African businesses that are here, vis-a-vis a business like Aroma that just started, Aroma Lounge. And as you all know, Bowie Town Center is on the decline. A lot of businesses have left there, and people go to Crofton now to shop. So part of what we want to do is to re-engage the council. We are here now. I mean, prior to today, you guys have not seen us, but you will continue to see us. We're going to knock on those doors. And we'll remember everything you said. That's why we have the camera. And tomorrow, you guys are going to see it on Fox, because Fox is going to run this. So it's not one of those, it's not prior to now when we're invisible. No, we're here. So you guys are going to see us, and we'll continue to advocate. Because some of the things you talked about, schools and economic development, that is key to our community. And you didn't see a lot of people here. Why? Because they're still at work. Some of them own businesses. So, and we're gonna make it bigger the next time. So wait till you guys get elected. We're gonna call you back again. So this is just a continuing conversation that's gonna continue to occur. So I thank you all for coming. I thank you all for being part of it. And we will continue to advocate, and we'll continue to support you guys, because again, it's a two-way street. Like my mother would say, love is a two-way street. So you do your part, we'll do our part. We'll support you while you do the things you promise you're gonna do. So thank you all again for coming, and this has been a beautiful conversation, and we'll hope to see you. We'll vote. We'll come out and vote, but we'll hope to see you after the election. So thank you. And give another round of applause to the candidates, please. We can even rise and clap. You guys can, let's get a picture with the candidates if you can do it.
I won't charge everybody.
Are they going to do
Let's get a picture with the candidates. Where should we stand? Front or behind? Behind.